A Florida woman was caught with drugs in a bag labeled bag of drugs. A Florida woman drowns her roommate's spider in ginger ale. A Florida mother screwed a nail into her daughter's buttocks. And a Florida man is arrested after he lassos an alligator and ties it to a fence. These are the weird stories for Friday on Weird AF News. They all have a theme. They are from our favorite state, Florida. That's right, it's Florida Friday on Weird AF News. Let's go. A Florida woman was caught with drugs in a bag labeled bag of drugs. Funny, I didn't know a Florida woman could spell bag of drugs. Very impressive. This lady has a chance, guys. Stories out of St. Petersburg. A Florida lady found herself behind some bars after a traffic stop yielded the discovery of some contraband, as most Florida women will yield if you stop them in traffic. What was in the contraband? Well, several drugs were stashed inside a bag labeled bag of drugs, according to the Florida Highway Patrol. Now, this lady's clearly an amateur. Everybody knows you don't call your bag of drugs bag of drugs. You label it not really drugs, or ordinary human items, or nothing to see here, or you might just want to write look away, baby, look away. Look away, baby, look away. There's no drugs to see. I don't have any drugs on me. Let's keep reading and find out what was going on with Florida woman Lauren Riley, age 41. Maybe she has a good excuse, perhaps a severe case of ADHD, has to label everything. My grandmother has to label all her drugs. Maybe she's just very forgetful. You know, she's lost her bag of drugs on many occasions. They've taken it away from her at the airport, so now she labels them bag of drugs. I have a label on my fanny pack that says, might be chapstick, might be drugs. So Florida woman Lauren was arrested and charged with the following after the incident that unfolded in the area of 54th Avenue North. You know the place. According to the arrest affidavit, the following was in her possession: cocaine, crack cocaine, methamphetamine, hydromorphine, alprazolam, amphetamine/dextroamphetamine, and you know the one, drug, say it with me, paraphernalia. Always got drug paraphernalia on them. These Florida citizens can't drive around the Florida highways without a bit of drug paraphernalia in a bag between their legs, usually. This all took place at 11:30 a.m. Riley was spotted in her vehicle, but not at the wheel of the vehicle. She's like, I wasn't driving under the influence. I was just doing drugs in the passenger seat with my bag o' drugs. She was without a seatbelt, rummaging around the passenger floorboard. The trooper pulled the driver over. Wait a minute. Was the car driving and she's in the passenger seat? How is this going? She was found on the road with the car parked. She's in the passenger seat. Wow, there's a lot of holes in this story. The trooper pulled the driver over, noticed a small, used and burnt piece of tinfoil and a plastic straw in the car. Additionally, they said that Riley was under the influence of alcohol, and you could clearly smell it. She was arrested for having an open container as well. She was asked to get out of the car as Florida Highway Patrol conducted a probable cause search. A bag labeled bag of drugs was reportedly found inside Riley's purse. Was she also wearing a hoodie that said drug runner? Let's keep reading and find out if she had all her T's crossed and lowercase j's dotted. According to the arrest affidavit, inside the bag of drugs, here we go. Let's see what's inside the bag of drugs. Well, we have exact breakdown. Metal spoon, 4 glass pipes with residue, plastic baggies with white residue, a full needle, 2 straws, 3.25 grams of cocaine, 1.75 grams of crack cocaine, 1 gram of crystal meth, 1.5 pills of hydromorphine, 2 pills of amphetamine/dextroamphetamine, 4.5 pills of alprazolam, I'm having a hard time with that one, alprazolam, and of course, well, the drug paraphernalia is the pipes, I assume, and the spoon, and the needles, and the straws, and all, that's what the drug paraphernalia would be. Well, I'm very impressed. She had what one would call a cornucopia of party favors. In Florida, they just call this lunch. Riley was taken into custody. She has since been released from the Pinellas County Jail. I'm sure she's going to be fine, guys. She's going to keep it clean all weekend, right? Right. No. She's probably going to immediately go out and corral another bag o' drugs. A Florida woman is arrested for allegedly murdering her roommate's pet spider. An Okaloosa County, Florida woman was arrested after she allegedly drowned her roommate's pet spider, according to the county sheriff's office. 43-year-old Lena Renee Rasmussen of the Crestview area admitted that she did, in fact, drown her roommate's pet jumping spider in ginger ale at their home. She has been charged with misdemeanor animal cruelty and theft for stealing the roommate's spider and drowning it in soda. This is a terrible way to go out, being drowned by ginger ale, being waterboarded by some Schweppes. I'll tell you, if I'm going to be drowning in soda, I don't want it to be some cheap store-bought ginger ale, man. I want some small batch, independent quality ginger ale, like Jones Soda, who is not a sponsor of the show, but should be. Jones Soda Company makes a lot of quality, small batch sodas. I'm not of any relation to the Jones Soda billions, unfortunately. Otherwise, I wouldn't be recording this in a closet. I would just be basking in the glow of knowing that my family comes from soda money. Back to the details of the spider murder. Police were alerted to the case when Rasmussen's roommate said she found the spider and its enclosure missing. The defendant texted the victim, admitting to drowning the jumping spider in some ginger ale. The spider was reportedly valued at $70. $70? I didn't even know spiders cost $70. This must be a very special jumping spider. It says here the motive for the drowning remains unclear. Well, we got to get to the bottom of what the motive was. Roommate issues, man. Roommate drama. Maybe the roommate would let the spider crawl throughout the apartment. Some people do that with their pets. They're like, no, let's let the spider get out, get some fresh air and some exercise. But you're like, yo, that's a spider? I'm not really comfortable with the spider just walking all over the place, you know. Or we're just dealing with a Florida psychopath, which is probably the real cause of all of this. The spiders, sometimes kept as pets, are of considerable beneficial importance in the control of flies, mosquitoes, and other human pests, according to the University of Florida. Wow, that's good to know. I got a couple of daddy longlegs that I find to be very good roommates. I let them do their thing, in the corners. Of course, I don't tell anybody. I just silently live with them, and we have an agreement. All right, I pay the rent here, and then they take care of some of the pests, the bugs, the mosquitoes. I assume. I don't really have a bug infestation, but I can't tell if it's just because I'm extremely clean and this place is good, or my daddy longlegs roommates are doing their part. Of course, in this instance, there's also the possibility that this jumping spider is an emotional support spider for this Florida roommate, and who are we to begrudge a Florida individual with any sort of emotional support, whatever they choose for emotional support, because in Florida, you need the utmost of emotional support. Wherever you may get it, be it a jumping spider, so be it. Still, the mode of execution is pretty cruel. To drown a spider in some bubbly, and it's not champagne or something delicious. It's just not right. It just rubs me the wrong way. I'll tell you right now, if somebody killed my pet spider, I would just unleash the rest of my trusty pets on them. All my spiders, all my iguanas, even my fruit bat, and my pet skunk. A Florida mother is accused of screwing a nail into her daughter's buttocks. This story isn't for the faint of heart. It's out of our favorite county, of course, Pinellas County. A lot of stuff going on in Pinellas County, like award-winning parenting. A Florida mom was arrested after she allegedly used an electric screwdriver to drive a nail into her 12-year-old daughter's buttocks. This is one of those moments where I wish I couldn't read, guys. I have those pretty often, usually on Fridays. The sick Florida woman's name is Jacqueline Goshkinsky. Wow, there's a chunk of consonants in the center of this word that just don't go together. It's an S followed by a Z followed by a C followed by another Z. How do you even say that? Gashginshinshinshinshinshinshinshinsky. 40-year-old mom arrested and charged with child abuse after the incident that unfolded. Gashginshinshinshinshinshinshinsky and her 3 children were hanging picture frames when she approached her 12-year-old daughter and asked her, "Have you ever been screwed in the ass?" What? Have you ever been screwed in the ass? That's when the mom allegedly put an electric screwdriver to her daughter's left butt cheek and pressed down on the trigger, driving a screw into her buttocks. This is like some sick, demented stuff, man. This is like, I had a sick friend growing up who would throw darts at us when we were. He was an older brother of a friend of mine. We'd go over the house, we'd play darts, and then the older brother would do crazy things to us. Throw darts at us, lit firecrackers at us. Like, these people aren't okay, man. No other details about the incident have been released. I don't know if I want to even know more incidents about this. This is just terrible. There's a photo of the mother, and I'm sorry to inform you that her face says, "I'd do it again." Guys, we need to do something to get these kids out of Florida. I've been saying this for years, all right? I've mentioned fundraisers, GoFundMes for the Florida children. They don't have a chance over there, man. They have no chance. And how could you? You were born and you live in the crotch of America. A Florida man is arrested after he lassos an alligator, ties it to a fence, and then calls 911 to report it. As one does in Florida. Cape Canaveral is the place. A Florida man is accused of tying an alligator up against a fence and calling 911, claiming to have found the reptile that way. "I found it that way," he's saying. Well, it's a nice try, buddy. Robert Collin is the Florida man, or is it Colin? Could be either. He's 71 years old. He's facing a felony charge of injuring a gator without authority. This is a felony, injuring a gator without authority? Gators have protection down there, much more protection than the children, I would say. All right, let's find out what our little gator wrangler was up to. Colin arrived at the area around 7:30 a.m. to capture a gator nearby. Why capture a gator? I don't know. This guy needs to get busy. Although he is retired, he's 71 years old. What else are you going to do in Florida? Just hit the pipe and go catch some gators. They look good on the selfie and on the grams. You know, you get a little selfie with a gator. Colin allegedly used a white nylon rope to lasso the gator around its upper jaw and tied the reptile to a handrail. After capturing the gator, Colin called 911 to respond and told deputies he found the gator tied to the handrail. Funny, if Colin doesn't call the police, he probably gets away with it and lives to gator wrangle another day. Video footage depicts a different story about what happened, contrary to what Colin told the police. The footage shows Colin using the white nylon rope to create a loop to catch the gator with. Is this how one attains peak Floridaman? Just wrangling a gator with a rope like that? I mean, not unless he's naked and high on meth when the popo arrives. Now he's peak Floridaman. Oh, looks like we have a motive here. Okay. The police spoke with Colin, who claimed that the nuisance gator had begun eating turtles about 3 years ago. Here's a quote from Colin. "Kicking them up in the air. I watched it. The gators were kicking them turtles up in the air and then crunching and eating all the babies." Oh, so this guy's not a meth-rattled, demented Florida man so much. He's a bit of a environmentalist. I'm sure PETA would be interested in working with this fellow. He gives a damn. Colin, the Florida man, decided to obviously take matters into his own hands. Colin says, quote, "You have to understand, there's people there, man. There's kids there. There's dogs there. A lot of people up here are at that area. A lot of people up here are at that area." Colin says he didn't lasso the gator, but instead the gator bit at the nylon rope and ended up trapped. When the sheriff's office showed up, they questioned him about the circumstances surrounding the trapping. Colin says after deputies showed up at his house, he was arrested for a felony. He said he didn't know he was even charged with the crime. The gator ultimately had to be euthanized. It doesn't say why. Was the gator injured by Colin? Wow, there's some holes in this story as big as the holes in a Florida man's brain cells. Yeehaw!
their cowboy show and flair, rodeo star in the humid air. Gator snapping jaw so wide, cowboy sitting in their stride. Swamp tillage and ain't no lie, riding gators till the evening sky. In the muck with boots so tall, wrangling gators makes them stand so small. Got the swamp folks gathering round, cheering wild at the crazy sound. Gator prancing to his tune, underneath the swampy moon. Floridaman, a sight to see, gator rodeo and cowboy spree. Gator snapping jaw so wide, cowboy sitting in their stride. Swamp tillage and ain't no lie, riding gators till the evening sky.
You're a weird one, Mr. Grinch. Hi, my friends. How are you? Is it the weekend for you? It probably is. Anyways, I hope you're taking advantage of this time. There's not a lot of weekends left in the summertime, guys, so make sure you're living it up, man. Living it up at the beach, poolside. Maybe you're playing some beer pong by a pool. Little cornholio, doing it up. Sipping on some quality summertime adult beverages. I have a favorite beer for the summer. It's a watermelon beer by this company called 21st Amendment. It's hard to find, but it's so refreshing. I don't know if you've ever had watermelon beer. I don't drink it all the time, but summertime, it's really something. Man, I remember drinking at this place in Salem, Massachusetts, where I lived for a little while. They had a place called Salem Beer Works. I believe it's still there. They got a Boston Beer Works. Oh, I think that one went out of business. It was right behind Fenway Park. But this Beer Works is a chain. Anyways, in the summertime, they would offer watermelon beer right out of the tap, and they would put a slice of watermelon on the rim, like a big slice. It was just outstanding. You eat the watermelon, it would drop into your beer. Oh, so refreshing. Oh, I miss those days. That's another thing that's great about summertime. You reflect on the previous summers. My greatest childhood memories involve summertime. Playing wiffle ball in the backyard and outside of Boston. Did you guys ever play wiffle ball in your backyard? Oh, you can't go back, though, can you? You can never go back, sadly. It's onward, forward, creating new great memories. And they can still involve wiffle ball if you try hard. And watermelon beer, I recommend it. Anyways, hey, what you guys think of that song that I put in there? That was another song I made by AI. It was called Gator Rodeo Star. Yeah, I drew up some lyrics, punched it into the system. I'm like, let's see what it does. It was okay. I thought it was okay. Pretty appropriate. I get a little bored sometimes. So just trying to spice up the old Weird AF News Florida Friday episodes. Hey, if you guys haven't heard my episode of That Was Wild podcast, I mentioned it earlier in the week. I need to mention it again. It's available on all podcast players and even YouTube. There's a YouTube page, youtube.com/thatwaswildpod, where you can actually watch me in a video format on the show. But it's available in Spotify and iTunes, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. But it's me and the host, Adam Macias, who is so funny. And we're just talking about all kinds of weird things because he's into weird news as well. And he often will cover weird stories on his podcast. He's he's covered some of the same weird news segments that I've covered on this podcast. So we really connected on that. And we talked about when I was kicked out of the Red Hot Chili Pepper cover band. Just some fun anecdotes. It was a great time anyway. So check out That Was Wild podcasts on YouTube. That Was Wild Pod. You can watch the video and subscribe if you like it. Adam's an enjoyable host, and he has a lot of similarities to myself in that he's also a stand-up comedian, and he's a really nice guy, though, overall. Really sweet. So not only was I so grateful to be on the show, but I was grateful to make a new friend. So that was awesome. Lastly, I'll keep this outro brief. If you want to support the podcast, please consider joining the Patreon or buying Jonesy a coffee off the website weirdafnews.com. That's a place where you can go. You can listen to the show there. You can submit articles and links through that website as well. But on the homepage, you can also click on the Patreon banner or Buy Me a Coffee banner, and you can send Jonesy some of your hard-earned buckos to keep him caffeinated in the closet, which is a great way to spend your buckos. If you can't afford that because the economy's horrible and groceries are too expensive to afford, then feel free to help out by spreading the show with all your friends and loved ones over the weekend when you're having some cold brews with them, or maybe you're drinking some Chardonnay, sangria. I don't know what you're into. Mint mojitos are nice in the summertime. That mint keeps you cool. Anything with the cucumber in it, I recommend for the summer as well. I had a delicious, it was a tequila cucumber mint beverage the other night at the comedy show. Free. I got 2 free drink tickets. Otherwise, I can't afford those drinks. That was a $20 cocktail at that bar in Hollywood. So I ordinarily won't do that. On principle, even if I had the money, on principle, why should I give you $20 for a mixed drink? That seems crazy to me. Anyways, I hope you're staying cool with your drink by the pool, enjoying a cool breeze if you're fortunate enough to have one. And think about supporting Weird AF News by telling a friend or writing a review. That's sweet. And all the while, just remember, Jonesy's here for you. I'm here for you 5 days a week, reminding you that the world is weird, reminding you that the proper response to this strange, crazy world is laughter, and reminding you that you have good luck in your life, man. And if you don't have good luck in your life, man, well, I'm telling you, good luck with your life, man.